Welcome to 100 Yards of Football Today. It's our community service segment. I'm your host, Vincent Turner. So if you like the video today, please comment and share it. And as always, our guests are very special here on our community service segment. And today, I couldn't be more proud. I couldn't be more honored because we got a judge coming on today. He's out of Naples, Florida. His name is Judge E. Edward Parson. So if you like the video today, please comment and share it here on 100 Yards of Football. And before I bring Mr. Parson up, you know we talk about football all the time here on 100 Yards Football, but we go a little direction of community service. He has a Bachelor of Arts from the University of Oklahoma. So you know we talk about the Sooners all the time. Then he has his JD from Howard University. Remember, they've been in the news from a college basketball standpoint because they got one of the top 5-star recruits that debuted this weekend, Thon Maker. Then he went to the University of Wisconsin and got his master's of law. So he's got some football background to him. But today, he's going to come on and talk law and talk about his journey. And it's been a fantastic journey. So if you like the video, please comment and share it. We are 100 Yards Football. So, Mr. Parson, how you doing this morning?
Good morning. How are you this morning?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. How's the weather down there in Naples, Florida?
A bit chilly, surprisingly.
Okay. So the first question I'm going to start off here on 100 Yards of Football. Why did you become a lawyer? And why are you so successful as you became a judge after you was an attorney?
Well, let me kind of take you back to 1968. As you know, it was a tumultuous year with different problems. I was playing Little League baseball, and I was involved in a lot of social justice as well. Once I became a teenager, went on to college, I knew my calling would be the law. I knew that I wanted to make change. I knew I wanted to be a part of social justice. And that was my way of sort of giving back to the community. I never got into law for the sake of money, prestige, or anything like that. I got into law to help social justice and be a part of my community.
A lot of people don't know that your journey has been so fantastic, and you was able for a number of years to be able to be an attorney, a judge, and a prosecutor over in the beautiful islands of St. Thomas. So I know everybody here at 100 Yards of Football in St. Thomas is considered one of the 5 top islands in the world to visit. What was it like living over there and then working in the Caribbeans and the cultural differences that really was within your job when you lived over there?
Okay, that's a very good question. Number one, it was a beautiful experience, and I had an opportunity to connect with my roots. That's number one. Number two, it was in my formative years as a lawyer. So they gave me the opportunity to grow as a lawyer and later to become a judge. The cultural differences are different but similar. Cultural differences meaning family, music, food, the way you interact are a bit different, but all in all, it was very similar to, say, living in the United States.
Okay, so what was it like being a prosecutor and a judge in your first formative years over there?
Oh, it was when I first became a prosecutor, it was eye-opening, to say the least. When I became a prosecutor, less than 1% of all prosecutors look like me. So that was a bit strange in itself. But it was a great learning tool. It was a great way to grow as a young lawyer. And it gave me an opportunity to be involved in the community and change the community within. We have a lot of problems with the criminal justice system, as you know. But they gave me the opportunity to be able to change that. And later I became the Solicitor General for the USVI.
Okay. What was your most interesting case?
Wow. Let me think for, okay. This is the most interesting case. Let me kind of take you through. In the Caribbean, as you know, they have a lot of hotels. And the hotels come to the islands and buy up a lot of the beachfront property. And they really don't want the local people to have access to the beaches. So I argued in the U.S. District Court, making beaches public in the USVI, and then other islands kind of piggybacked off of that. So I guess my best case, the case they probably gave me more pleasure, was being able to litigate a case allowing everybody the opportunity to use our beautiful beaches.
Okay. Now, moving on, you moved on St. Thomas, you went back, came back over here, I'm going to say to the States, got your master's in law at the University of Wisconsin, but you became a professor. And the first job you took, and I know a lot of people representing that come to our page as Florida A&M graduates, you taught law school for how many years in Florida A&M? And you told me it was a great experience.
Yes, I taught at the University of Wisconsin Law School, and then the dean, Ruth Witherspoon, called me up and said, "Would you like to come to Florida A&M?" Naturally, I said yes, because the weather is kind of cold there, and I've never, been to Florida or lived in Florida, so I said yes. And I accepted the position at Florida A&M. It was hands down the best teaching experience of my life. No ifs and buts about it. The students were magnificent. The faculty was beautiful. And I won Best Faculty of the Year my first year there. As voted by the students. We had a big banquet at the Marriott, and they presented me an award. So my teaching experience at Florida A&M was the best, and beyond any doubt. I love the students. I love the experience. It was number one.
Okay, let's move now to today. You're doing some great things on the law exam front. So tell us about what you're doing now. I'm going to let you explain it to the audience. And what you're doing now, you're making an impact on people across the world. I'm not saying across the country, but tell us what you're doing now in the work you're doing in your business.
Okay, currently I'm the CEO of Bar Professors. What we do, we teach people the bar exam. We hold seminars throughout the world, throughout the United States, Miami, Jacksonville, North Carolina. We hold seminars. And our focus is on students who have problems passing the bar. We call them repeat bar takers. And I think our program resonates with them because we incorporate our program into their work schedule. Also, we've written books, the Florida Bar Exam book, the California Bar Exam book, the UBE, which covers 38 states. And that allows the students to purchase the books and then either attend our classes or work one-on-one with one of our professors. So we feel that it is a great experience. Let me tell you a story, and I want your audience to kind of listen to this. I met a student of Jamaican descent. She took the bar 14 times over 15 years. True story. Naturally, she was no confidence, just didn't think she could do it. Our program worked with her. She passed the bar. She is now a lawyer in New York. Those are the kind of wonderful things that I'm the most proud of in working and being associated with bar professors, helping students who may have given up, helping students who may not think that they could pass the bar exam, but we were instrumental in helping them pass the bar exam. Another quick story, I had two students, older students, 158, 162, went to law school late in life, took the New York bar 5 times. They could not pass it. They worked with bar professors and they passed it. Now, when I was talking to Donald, who was at that time 62 years old, he said, Professor, Judge, I didn't want to tell you who my wife was. And I said, who is your wife? He said, my wife is Carly Stern, the president and CEO of UNICEF. And I said, wow. She said, you've changed our lives for the best. So, absent the financial remunerations, which when you're in business, you look for that, but you look to help people and being involved in the community. And I think that's what gives me more pleasure than anything about working with bar professors. How we change people's lives who's basically it's given up.
Okay, this not might be a question equation, but it's just a curious question from myself. What is the most difficult part of the bar exam now?
Oh, that's a
Is it the
very,
writing?
very
Is it
good
the
question.
writing sector? I'm just curious.
Yeah, that's a very good question. It's debatable. Let me give you what I think is the most difficult part, and let me break it down. The bar exam is broken down into 2 segments. One, an essay portion, which is given all day, and 2, a multiple choice, which we call multi-state, 200 questions. You have to select the best answer. Now, students who have problems with reading apprehension and reading comprehension have more problems with the multiple state. Students who don't write as well have problems more with the essay. Now, if I had to pick one, I would say the most difficult one is the essay, especially in Florida. Florida is the most difficult bar exam in the nation. I teach them all. I teach Florida, I teach California, DC, New York, Texas. I teach all of the bars. And if I had to say which one was the most difficult, Florida would be it. And so the essay portion, I think, is the most difficult part because you would have to organize your answer. You would have to do what we call rule application, factual analysis, reading the call of the question. So you would have to definitely bring your A game.
Okay, now other things I want to bring up is that you also have traveled over in Europe and given seminars. Tell us a little bit about that because you told me you've been to Germany, Denmark,
right,
London, England. Hey, mate, tell us about your experiences over there.
Well, we have international students. We have students from England. We have students from Switzerland. We just recently made contact with a student in Ireland. Now, you would ask the question, why would a European student contact you? Let me give your audience a sneak preview. If you go to China, if you go to Europe and talk to any European lawyer, all of them want that American license. It's like gold. It's like having $1 million in your pocket. And because the United States allowed them to take the bar, then they take the bar now. So, connecting with the international students is very important because they have the right to sit for the New York bar, and that's probably 80% of the students who take the bar exam in the United States. They take the New York bar. So to answer your question, we've done lectures over there. We've done, Zoom calls, FaceTime calls, etc.
Okay. And you told me off the record, Denmark is probably the most beautiful place you've been in the world, correct?
Yeah, I would rate Germany 1, Denmark 2. Germany, I was in Berlin, I was in Munich, I was in Bobart, I was in Heidelberg, I was in Cologne. I did the whole country. And it looks like a picture postcard everywhere you go. Green, 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 green going up the mountain. Because I was there in August. And surprisingly, it was in the 80s. And being in the 80s in Germany is like unheard of. So it was a wonderful experience.
Okay. Now you have some instructional books to go along with your business, the bar professors. Tell us about your books.
Yeah. Thanks for asking. We have a book set for our students called the Florida Bar Essay Book, the Florida Multiple Choice Book, where they can go online and purchase our books. That will be in conjunction with our tutorials. We have the California books and we have the UBE books, which is for 38 states. Now, the move now is for a universal bar, and it's called the UBE, which is called the Uniform Bar Exam. So you take one bar, you'll be able to be admitted in 38 states. So we have a book for that. So when you enroll in our program, you purchase our books, and then you work out of our books along with our professors. And we have a pool of professors as well.
Okay. I got two more questions for you, taking away from your precious time. Why is the bar exam so important in our days, times where we live in today? Why is the exam so important?
Yeah, I think that's a good question as well. It's important, Vincent, because it tests minimum competence. We do not want people out there who are not competent, because now, when you and I, went to college and went to law school, you had very few law schools, but now you have a lot of law schools. For an example, in Florida, when you and I were in undergrad, they only had 6 law schools in Florida. Now they have 11. So now it's more people going, and more people who may not be the type of people who may fit into the legal profession. So I think the bar is critical to weeding those people who don't have that seriousness of purpose or that drive or that determination. You must have a bar exam to eliminate those people.
And final question of the day, and thank you so much for being here on 100 Yards of Football. What do you see bar professors from 5 years from now?
Okay, I see us expanding in the international market, as well as the domestic market, expanding, reaching out to people, but more importantly, connecting with the community. We want to provide scholarships to students who may not have the money to take our course, which is relatively expensive. We want to do that. We want to be able to donate some of our bar books to students who may not be able to afford it. We want to go out into the community and lecture the community about certain rights that they may have that they don't know, any kind of consumer type of rights that they may not be aware of. So we want to be, number one, we want to grow, our brand, but number two, we want to be more involved in the community and giving back to the community. That's how I grew up. I grew up in an era where community was important. As you know, both of us, grew up in a wonderful community. And I think it made you who you are, and it made me who I am. So that's my roots, and that's what I like. So community and trying to grow the brand and making it more access to more people.
Well, man, I'd like to say thank you for taking out your time this morning. But before you go, you know that 100 yards of football is about football, right?
Right.
So a lot of people don't know that you got your BA from the University of Oklahoma. You are a big time alumni and football follower of the University of Oklahoma, Boomer Sooner. So how do you like the Oklahoma program now? Because when you was there back in the mid-70s, they had the Wishbone, Thomas Lott, Terry Peters, Elvis Peacock, Billy Sims. But now with Lincoln Riley, they're throwing the football all over the place. What you like about the program now than when you attended school back in the 70s?
Oh, well, when I was at Oklahoma, the offense was just kind of one-dimensional. Either up the middle or the quarterback keeps it or he pitches it to one of the backs. In today's world, that would never work on the level. That's an antiquated offense, but I think Army runs the wishbone, and
right.
They're not a top team. The name of the game is speed and air. And Oklahoma has an outstanding quarterback, Spencer Rattler, who was a 5-star recruit coming out of, I think, Arizona. And I think it's good things for the Sooners coming. They just got to tighten up that secondary. That secondary has been relatively poor, in my estimation, for the last 3 or 4 years. And they got to get that secondary tightened up. They just bombs away on that secondary. So that's
and one more question from a sports standpoint right now, because I know you watch a lot of football during the season, and a lot of people that's associated with me here, 100 Yards Football, I wanted to get your opinion on this. Right now, with your eyes and your great legal knowledge, in college football, who's the best team in the country? And right now, from a pro standpoint, who's the best team right now in the National Football League?
Okay, from a college standpoint, I'm going to go with 2 teams, not Notre Dame. I think they're going to fall by the wayside. Overrated quarterback, way overrated. I think the 2 best teams is Clemson and Alabama. Those are the 2 best teams in the country, and I think the national championship must go through them. From the NFL standpoint, I think it's Kansas City, but don't fall asleep on Baltimore. They can get themselves together. They may make a run. I know the quarterback is out for COVID reasons, but don't fall asleep on them. They may surprise some people, but I think the front runner is Kansas City, and also a surprise team is the Pittsburgh Steelers. I don't see how they win, but I guess their defense is okay. I don't see anything really like real special about them, but they win.
Okay.
So those are my teams. Those are my 3 teams.
Okay, give your contact information before we let you go today. Like I say, from the people here at 100 Yards of Football and our staff, we like to say thank you It's an
Sure,
honor
it's a pleasure.
to have you on the 100 Yards Football. Give our audience your contact information. There might be some people out there that need help with the bar.
Yeah, and we've helped people in Georgia pass the bar. I got a couple of good friends in Georgia. Judge Earl Glanville, who is a judge in Fulton County Family Court. I want to say hello to him. He's a very good friend of mine and one of the only Black generals in the country. So he's a very accomplished man. You can contact us at barprofessors.com. Just barprofessors.com, and that's how you can reach us.
Okay, man. I want to say, hey, man, you have a blessed day. Enjoy your week. Thank you for coming here today on 100 Yards of Football.
Okay, thanks a lot.
If you like the video today, please come in and share it. I'm your host, Vincent Turner, and joining me today, Judge E. Edward Parson out of Naples, Florida. Y'all have a blessed week, and thank you today here on 100 Yards of Football.